when I say savage. I don't mean cruel or uncivilized. I'm talking about tapping into that primal force within you. That unstoppable drive that's been lying dormant, waiting for this very moment to awaken. Every single one of us has a savage within. It's that part of us that refuses to settle. That part that knows we're destined for greatness. But society, with all its rules and expectations, has taught us to cage that savage, to dim our light, to play small. Playing small doesn't serve the world. It doesn't serve you. And it certainly doesn't serve your purpose. Have you ever seen a lion apologize for its roar? Have you ever witnessed an eagle second guess its ability to soar? Of course not. They embrace their nature, their power, their savagery. And that's exactly what you need to do. Becoming a savage isn't about aggression or dominance. It's about embracing your true nature, your full potential. It's about shedding the layers of doubt, fear, and mediocrity that society has painted on you. Let me share a story with you. Years ago, I met a young man named Marcus. Marcus came from a rough neighborhood where dreams were often crushed before they could take flight. But Marcus had a fire in his eyes, a determination that set him apart. One day, I asked Marcus, "What do you want to become?" He looked at me, hesitant at first, then said, "I want to become a doctor. But everyone says it's impossible for someone like me." I looked him straight in the eye and said, "Marcus, the only impossibility is the one you accept in your mind." Marcus nodded. But I could see the doubt lingering. So I continued, "Tell me, Marcus, when a lion hunts, does it worry about the opinion of sheep?" He shook his head, a small smile forming on his lips. "Exactly," I said. "Because the lion knows its nature, its power. It doesn't seek permission to be what it was born to be. And neither should you." That conversation was a turning point for Marcus. He embraced his inner savage. He studied harder than anyone else, worked multiple jobs to pay for his education, and faced every obstacle with unwavering determination. Today, Dr. Marcus runs a clinic in that same neighborhood, providing health care to those who need it most. He became a savage in pursuit of his purpose. And in doing so, he transformed not just his life, but the lives of countless others. You see, becoming a savage isn't just about personal gain. It's about unleashing your full potential so you can make a real difference in this world. Now, some of you might be thinking, "But I'm not like Marcus. I don't have a clear purpose into that." I say your purpose isn't something you find, it's something you create. Imagine for a moment that your life is a blank canvas. Society hands you a set of watercolors and tells you to paint within the lines. But becoming a savage means grabbing that canvas, throwing away those dull watercolors, and reaching for the bold, vibrant oils instead. It means painting with broad, fearless strokes, creating a masterpiece that's uniquely yours. Your purpose isn't handed to you, it's crafted by your passion, your experiences, and your willingness to embrace your true nature. Fear is the cage that keeps your inner savage contained. It whispers lies, telling you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough. Fear is nothing more than false evidence appearing real. Every great achievement in history was born from someone who dared to challenge their fears. Every innovation, every breakthrough, every revolution started with someone who refused to be tamed by their doubts. When the Wright brothers announced that they would fly a man, the world laughed. If man were meant to fly, they said, he'd have been born with wings, but the Wright brothers didn't listen to the naysayers. They embraced their inner savage, their relentless drive to achieve the impossible. They faced failure after failure, crash after crash, but with each setback, They grew stronger, more determined. They didn't just dream of flying, they obsessed over it. They breathed it, they lived it. And in doing so, they changed the course of human history. That's the power of becoming a savage. It's not about waiting for permission or validation. It's about deciding that your dreams are too important to be left to chance or the opinions of others. Now, I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the person you could become if you removed all limits, all fears, all doubts. Imagine the impact you could have if you fully embraced your power, your potential, your inner savage, that person you're imagining. That's not a fantasy. That's the real you, waiting to be unleashed. Becoming a savage isn't a one-time event. It's a daily choice, a constant battle against complacency and mediocrity. It's choosing growth over comfort, action over excuses, excellence over average. Let me share another story with you. There was a woman named Millie, a brilliant artist who had always dreamed of having her work showcased in galleries around the world. But for years, she kept her art hidden, convinced that she wasn't good enough. One day, Millie attended a local art fair. As she walked among the stalls, admiring the work of other artists, she overheard a conversation that changed everything. An elderly artist was speaking to a young admirer, and he said, "The world doesn't need more perfect artists. It needs more courageous ones." Those words hit Millie like a thunderbolt. She realized that her pursuit of perfection had been holding her back. She had been so focused on being flawless that she had forgotten to be fearless. That night, Millie made a decision. She would become a savage in her pursuit of art. She would create boldly, unapologetically, pouring her heart and soul onto every canvas. The next day, she set up a small stall at a busy intersection. Displaying her art for all to see, people stopped, stared, some criticized, others praised. But Millie stood tall, embracing every reaction, every emotion her art evoked. Weeks turned into months, and Millie's savage approach to her art began to attract attention. Gallery owners who had previously ignored her now sought her out. Critics who had dismissed her now wrote glowing reviews. But the real transformation wasn't in her success. It was in Millie herself. She no longer created art to please others or to fit into a mold. She created because it was her nature, her purpose, her way of leaving her mark on the world. Today, Millie's art hangs in galleries across the globe. But more importantly, she inspires other artists to embrace their inner savage, to create without fear, to express their truth without apology. Becoming a savage isn't about being the best. It's about being the most authentic version of yourself. It's about living with such intensity, such purpose, that you inspire others to do the same. Oh, some of you might be thinking, but what if I fail? What if I embrace my inner savage and still don't achieve my dreams into that? I say, good. Let yourself fail. Let yourself fall. Because it's in the falling that you'll learn to rise. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a part of it. Every savage knows this. They don't fear failure. They embrace it as a teacher, a guide, a stepping stone to greatness, a baby learning to walk. Does the baby give up after falling once, twice, 100 times? No, the baby keeps trying, keeps falling, keeps getting back up. And with each attempt, each failure, the baby grows stronger, more confident, until one day, those wobbly steps turn into a confident stride. That baby is the perfect example of the savage mindset. Unyielding in the face of failure, persistent in the pursuit of growth. But becoming a savage isn't just about personal achievement. It's about using your unleashed potential to lift others. to make a real difference in the world. In forest, there's a majestic oak tree. Its branches reach high into the sky. Its roots dig deep into the earth. This oak tree doesn't apologize for taking up space, for reaching for the sun. Instead, it provides shelter for countless creatures. Its leaves produce oxygen that benefits the entire forest. That's what it means to be a savage. You don't diminish yourself to make others comfortable. You grow, you expand, you reach for the sky, and in doing so, you create space for others to grow alongside you. True savages understand that life isn't a zero-sum game. Your success doesn't come at the expense of others. In fact, the more you embrace your savage nature, the more you inspire others to do the same. The great leaders throughout history, they didn't achieve greatness by playing it safe or following the rules. They achieved greatness by daring to be different, by challenging the status quo, by embracing their inner savage. They understood a fundamental truth: that conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. To become a savage means to break free from the prison of other people's expectations and to create your own path. This path won't be easy. The moment you decide to become a savage, to live life on your own terms, you'll face resistance. People will question you, doubt you, maybe even mock you. They'll tell you to tone it down, to play it safe, to stay in your lane. And in those moments, you have a choice. You can listen to their fears and doubts, or you can listen to the roar of your inner savage. You can shrink back into comfort and mediocrity, or you can step forward into growth and greatness. Every great achievement, every revolutionary idea, every life-changing invention came from someone who chose to embrace their savage nature. Becoming a savage isn't about acting on every impulse or desire. It's about channeling your raw power, your primal energy, into purposeful action. Discipline is the forge in which savages are made. It's the daily commitment to your goals, the relentless pursuit of excellence, the unwavering focus on your purpose. Imagine a river for a moment. Left unchecked, its power can be destructive, chaotic. But when channeled properly, that same power can generate electricity, irrigate fields, sustain life. That's what discipline does. It doesn't diminish your savage nature. It enhances it, directs it, makes it unstoppable. Let me share a story about the power of disciplined savagery. There was a young athlete named Alex. Alex had always dreamed of competing in the Olympics. But he came from a small town with limited resources and no professional coaches. Most people would have given up on that dream. But Alex decided to become a savage in his pursuit of excellence. He created his own training regimen, studying the techniques of top athletes and adapting them to his circumstances. Every morning, Alex woke up at 4 a.m. to train before school. Every evening, while his friends were hanging out, Alex was back at it, pushing his body to its limits. He turned his backyard into a makeshift gym, using rocks for weights and trees for pull-up bars. People called him crazy. They told him he was wasting his time, that kids from small towns don't become Olympians. But Alex didn't listen. He was too busy becoming a savage. Years passed, and Alex's dedication began to pay off. He started winning local competitions, then regional ones. And finally, against all odds, Alex qualified for the Olympics. When interviewers asked Alex about his journey, he didn't talk about the medals or the glory. He talked about the early mornings, the late nights, the countless hours of practice. He talked about the discipline that forged his savage nature. Becoming a savage isn't about the destination, it's about the journey. It's about falling in love with the process of becoming the best version of yourself. Now, some of you might be thinking, but I'm not an athlete or an artist. How does this apply to me and to that? I say, becoming a savage isn't reserved for a select few. It's a choice available to every single one of you. Maybe you're a student struggling with a difficult subject. Become a savage in your studies. Attack those books with ferocity. Approach each problem as a challenge to be conquered. Perhaps you're an entrepreneur facing setbacks. Become a savage in your persistence. Let each no fuel your determination. Let each failure sharpen your strategy. Or maybe you're a parent trying to balance work and family. Become a savage in your time management, in your ability to be fully present in each moment. Savagery isn't about what you do. It's about how you do it. It's about bringing intensity, focus, an unwavering commitment to every aspect of your life. Becoming a savage doesn't mean becoming selfish or ruthless. True savages understand the power of compassion, the strength in kindness. What's more savage than having the power to crush someone, but choosing to lift them up instead? What's more savage than facing hatred with love, fear with courage, division with unity? The most powerful savages in history weren't conquerors or tyrants. They were the ones who channeled their fierce nature into fighting for justice, into standing up for the voiceless, into making the world a better place. So as you embrace your savage nature, remember this: your power isn't just for you. It's a tool to impact lives, to create change, to leave a legacy that outlives you. Becoming a savage starts in your mind. It's about shifting your perspective, changing the way you see yourself and the world around you. Most people live with a scarcity mindset. They believe that success is a limited resource, that if someone else succeeds, it somehow diminishes their own chances. But savages, they operate from a mindset of abundance. They understand that there's enough success, enough opportunities, enough greatness for everyone. They don't waste time comparing themselves to others or feeling threatened by someone else's achievements. Instead, they focus on competing with the only person that matters, the person they were yesterday. Savages understand that the mind is like a garden. The thoughts you plant, the beliefs you nurture, will determine the life you harvest. So they're ruthless about weeding out negative thoughts, about planting seeds of positivity, ambition, and unwavering self-belief. They understand that confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build day by day, decision by decision. Let me share another story with you. There was a young woman named Lila who had always struggled with self-doubt. She had dreams of starting her own business, but every time she tried to take a step forward, that inner voice would whisper, "Who do you think you are? You're not good enough. You're going to fail." For years, Lila listened to that voice. She stayed in her comfort zone, watching opportunities pass her by, convinced that she wasn't worthy of success. But one day, Lila decided she'd had enough. She was tired of playing small, tired of letting fear dictate her life. She made a decision to become a savage in her mindset. Lila started by challenging every negative thought that crossed her mind. When that voice said, "You can't do it," Lila would counter with, "Watch me," when it said, "You're not good enough," Lila would respond, "I'm getting better every day." She surrounded herself with books, podcasts, and people that reinforced her new savage mindset. She started each day by declaring her worth, her potential, her unshakable belief in herself. At first, it felt awkward, even silly, but Lila persisted, and slowly but surely, That savage mindset began to take root with her new mindset. Lila finally took the leap and started her business. Did everything go smoothly? Of course not. She faced challenges, setbacks, moments of doubt. But this time, instead of letting these obstacles defeat her, she saw them as opportunities to prove her savage nature. Today, Lila runs a successful company that empowers other women to embrace their inner savage. But more importantly, she's become a beacon of what's possible when you decide to change your mindset. Becoming a savage isn't about waiting for confidence to magically appear. It's about acting with courage even when you're scared. It's about taking that leap even when you can't see the landing. Because here's the truth, courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is fear that has said its prayers and decided to go forward anyway. Becoming a savage requires an immense amount of energy, physical, mental, and emotional. Most people go through life operating at 50% capacity. They do just enough to get by, to maintain the status quo. But savages, they understand that life isn't about maintenance, it's about growth. And growth requires energy. So they become savages in how they manage their energy. They're ruthless about cutting out energy drains, negative people, useless activities, time-wasting habits. They understand no to what doesn't matter, saying yes to what does. They fuel their bodies with the right nutrition. They sharpen their minds with continuous learning. They feed their souls with purposeful actions. They understand that energy isn't just about doing more, it's about being more. It's about showing up fully in every moment. Bringing your whole self to every interaction, every challenge, every opportunity. The sun doesn't hold back its light. It doesn't shine dimly on Mondays and brightly on Fridays. It gives its all, consistently, day after day. That's the energy of a savage, constant, powerful, life-giving. This energy isn't about burning yourself out. It's not about hustle culture or working yourself to exhaustion. No, the energy of a savage is sustainable, renewable. It comes from alignment with your purpose, from the joy of living authentically, from the thrill of pushing your boundaries. Savages understand that rest isn't the opposite of productivity. It's part of it. They don't wear exhaustion as a badge of honor. Instead, they honor their need for recovery, knowing that it's in those moments of rest that they recharge for their next conquest. They approach sleep with the same intensity they bring to their waking hours, understanding that quality rest is the foundation of peak performance. They don't just fall asleep, they prepare for it, creating rituals that allow them to disconnect from the day's chaos and sink into deep, restorative slumber. But energy isn't just about the physical. Mental energy focus. Clarity, creativity is just as crucial. Savages train their minds like elite athletes train their bodies. They practice mindfulness, not as a trendy buzzword, but as a vital tool for maintaining mental sharpness. They understand that in a world of constant distractions, the ability to focus deeply is a superpower. So they create environments that foster concentration. They batch similar tasks, understanding that multitasking is a myth that robs them of their savage energy. And emotional energy, too, is carefully cultivated. Savages don't let their emotions rule them, but neither do they suppress them. They understand that emotions are data, valuable information about their inner world and their interaction with the outer one. They practice emotional intelligence, not to manipulate others, but to create deeper, more meaningful connections. They understand that empathy isn't weakness, it's a strength that allows them to navigate complex social landscapes with grace and power. Becoming a savage means developing a different relationship with time. Most people see time as something that happens to them. They react to it. They complain about not having enough of it. They let it slip through their fingers like sand. But savages, they don't just manage time, they master it. They understand that time is the most precious resource they have, the one thing they can never get back. So they approach it with a ferocity that others find intimidating. They don't wish for more hours in the day. They make the most of the hours they have. They understand that time management isn't about squeezing more tasks into each day. It's about allocating their time in a way that aligns with their values and moves them closer to their goals. Savages are ruthless about eliminating time wasters. They audit their days, looking for activities that don't serve their purpose. They're not afraid to say no to commitments that don't align with their priorities. They understand that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something crucial. While savages are intensely focused on making every moment count, they also understand the value of presence. They know how to slow down time by immersing themselves fully in the present moment. When they're working, they work with laser focus. When they're with loved ones, they're fully there, not distracted by thoughts of work or worry about the future. When they're resting, they rest deeply, allowing their minds and bodies to fully recharge. This ability to be fully present, to stretch and contract time at will, is one of the hallmarks of true savagery. It allows them to accomplish more in less time, while also experiencing life more richly and deeply. Becoming a savage means developing a new relationship with fear. Most people see fear as something to be avoided, something that holds them back. But savages, they see fear as fuel. They understand that fear is often a signpost, pointing towards the areas where they need to grow. When they feel fear bubbling up, instead of retreating, they lean in. They ask themselves, what is this fear trying to teach me? How can I use this to become stronger? Savages don't wait for fear to disappear before they act. They act with the fear, through the fear. Despite the fear, they understand that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the triumph over it. They train themselves to be comfortable with discomfort. To find ease in challenging situations, they purposely put themselves in situations that scare them, understanding that growth happens at the edge of their comfort zone. But this isn't recklessness. Savages aren't adrenaline junkies seeking a thrill. Their relationship with fear is purposeful, strategic. They calculate risks, weigh potential outcomes. But once they've decided on a course of action, they commit fully, without hesitation. They understand that the greatest risk in life is not taking any risks at all. They know that a life lived in fear is a life half lived. So they choose to live fully, to embrace uncertainty, to dance with their fears rather than be paralyzed by them. Rehabilitate your relationship with complete failure. Most people see failure as the end, as proof that they're not good enough, as a reason to give up. But savages, they see failure as the beginning. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of it. They see each failure as a data point, a lesson, a stepping stone towards their ultimate goal. They don't just accept failure, they embrace it. They seek it out, knowing that in failure lies the seeds of future success. Savages understand that the path to mastery is paved with failures. They know that every expert was once a beginner, that every success story is built on a foundation of failures overcome. So they fail fast, or fail often. And most importantly, they fail forward. They don't wallow in their failures or let them define them. Instead, they analyze them, learn from them, use them as fuel to drive them forward. They understand that resilience isn't about never falling, it's about always getting back up. Savages don't just learn from their own failures. They study the failures of others, extracting lessons, identifying patterns, gaining wisdom without having to experience every setback personally. They know that the smartest person in the room is the one who can learn from everyone else's mistakes, developing a unique perspective on the competition. Most people see competition as a zero-sum game for them to win. Someone else must lose. But savages, they see competition differently. They understand that their greatest competition isn't other people, it's themselves. They're constantly striving to outdo their own best efforts, to push past their own limitations, to become better today than they were yesterday. when they do compete with others. It's not out of a desire to prove their superiority. Instead, they see their competitors as catalysts for their own growth. They understand that iron sharpens iron, that worthy opponents push them to new heights of performance. Savages don't waste energy being jealous of others' success. Instead, they study it, learn from it, use it as inspiration. They understand that someone else's success doesn't diminish their own potential, it expands their vision of what's possible. While savages are fiercely competitive, they're not cutthroat. They understand that true victory isn't about standing on top of defeated opponents. It's about rising together, about using their success to lift others up. They know that the greatest leaders aren't those who have the most followers, but those who create the most leaders. So they compete not just to win, but to inspire, to set new standards, to push their entire field forward. Becoming a savage means cultivating a vision so powerful, so compelling, that it pulls you forward even on your toughest days. Most people drift through life, reacting to circumstances, letting external forces shape their path. But savages, they're driven by a clear, unwavering vision of their future. They understand that where focus goes, energy flows. So they focus relentlessly on their vision, letting it guide their decisions, shape their actions, fuel their persistence. They don't just set goals, they create a vivid, a detailed picture of the future they want to create. This vision isn't just about personal gain. Savages understand that the most powerful visions are those that extend beyond themselves, that contribute to something greater. They ask themselves not just what they want to achieve, but what mark they want to leave on the world. They use their vision as a filter, evaluating every opportunity, every decision against it. They're not afraid to say no to good opportunities that don't align with their vision, knowing that saying no to the good is how they make room for the great. Savages don't just create a vision and then sit back, waiting for it to magically manifest. They take massive, consistent action towards it. They break their vision down into actionable steps, creating a bridge between their present reality and their desired future. They understand that a vision without action is just a daydream. An action without vision is just passing time. So they combine the two, letting their vision inspire their actions and their actions bring their vision to life. Developing the ability to thrive in any environment, to turn any situation to your advantage. Most people crumble in the face of change, clinging to the familiar even when it no longer serves them. But savages, they embrace change, seeing it as an opportunity for growth and innovation. They understand that in a world of constant change, the ability to adapt isn't just useful, it's essential for survival and success. They don't just react to change, they anticipate it, prepare for it, even create it when necessary. Savages are like water, able to flow around obstacles, to find a way through any barrier, to carve new paths when old ones are blocked. They understand that rigidity is the enemy of growth, that flexibility is strength, not weakness. But this adaptability isn't about abandoning their principles or losing their identity. Savages have a strong core, a set of unshakable values and beliefs that guide them. Their adaptability is in their strategies, their methods, their approaches, not in their fundamental purpose or character. They understand that what got them here won't necessarily get them there. So they're constantly learning, evolving, reinventing themselves. They don't cling to outdated methods or obsolete skills. Instead, they're always looking ahead, anticipating future trends, preparing for challenges that haven't yet emerged. This adaptability extends to their mindset as well. Savages are open to new ideas, willing to challenge their own assumptions, ready to change their minds when presented with new evidence. They understand that growth often requires unlearning as much as it does learning. Becoming a savage isn't just about what you achieve in your lifetime, it's about the impact you leave behind. The ripples you create that continue long after you're gone. Savages understand that true greatness isn't measured by what you accumulate, but by what you contribute. They're not content with just building a successful life for themselves. They want to create value that outlasts them, to solve problems that will benefit future generations. They ask themselves powerful questions. How can I use my talents to serve others? What problems am I uniquely positioned to solve? What can I create that will continue to add value even when I'm no longer here? This focus on legacy gives their actions a deeper meaning, a greater purpose. It pushes them to think bigger, to take on challenges that others shy away from, to make decisions based not just on short-term gain, but on long-term impact. But creating a legacy isn't about seeking fame or recognition. Savages understand that some of the most powerful legacies are built quietly, through consistent acts of kindness, through mentoring others, through small improvements that compound over time. They know that every interaction, every decision, every action is a brush stroke on the canvas of their legacy. So they strive to make each one count, to infuse even the smallest task with excellence and purpose. I want you to understand this. Becoming a savage isn't a destination. It's a journey. It's a daily commitment to growth, to authenticity, to making the most of every moment you're given. It's about waking up each day with fierce determination, facing your challenges head on, and going to bed each night knowing you've given your all. It's about constantly pushing your boundaries, redefining what's possible, and inspiring others to do the same. Remember, the world doesn't need more ordinary people playing small. It needs individuals who are willing to embrace their power, to step into their greatness, to become the savages they were born to be. Stop playing by rules that don't serve you, to stop waiting for permission to be great, to stop dimming your light out of fear of outshining others. Instead, roar with the full force of your authentic voice. Pursue your dreams with unwavering determination. Live with such passion and purpose that you inspire everyone around you to level up. Because when you become a savage, truly, fully, unapologetically, you don't just change your own life, you change the world. You set a new standard. You show others what's possible when you refuse to be tamed by fear, doubt, or limiting beliefs. So go forth. Be savage. Be relentless. Be unstoppable. The world is waiting for the unique gift that only you can give. Don't make it wait any longer. Your time is now. Embrace your savage nature and let it propel you to heights you've never imagined. Remember, in the story of your life, you are both the author and the main character. Write a story so inspiring, so savage that it echoes through eternity. The pen is in your hand. The page is blank. What will you write? Your journey to becoming a savage starts now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when the conditions are perfect. Now, in this moment, with the very next decision you make. So make it count. Make it savage. Make it the first step towards the extraordinary life you were born to live. The world is waiting. Your savage self is waiting. It's time to answer the call.